it sounds like Roadster's kind of evolved for you guys, but how have we evolved with Roadster and taking it to another level?
Well, that's probably a great question, and that's probably the best answer. What digital retailing companies really promote is the fact that this is going to be a lead capture piece, and customers are going to want to do this thing online. And what we learned is we don't really treat it as a lead generator. We treat it as a digital desking tool. We treat it as virtual desking. So we use the tool primarily to share information. We just push so much information out to customers, and we don't anticipate nor expect that customer to get locked into the tool and go all the way through the process and just buy a car. At what point in time we believe that consumer engagement is high enough, we'll pull them out of the tool and put them into our process with a management team that is prepared to handle it at that point in time with a little bit higher level of awareness.
So I know there's different, like you said, there's different pieces to this whole process, and certainly I know in conversations you've had a few people that have kind of gone through the whole steps from start to finish, selecting the vehicle, looking at product and financing and trade-in and everything.
Yep.
But with those different buckets, I know we've had conversations where you guys are doing a little more early TO from the BDC.
Correct.
What does that look like, and which buckets do those fall in?
So we learned as a management team, we have one sales manager that sort of directs the process on the showroom floor. And if that person's off, it's sort of tag and another manager will do it. So we have every day someone dedicated to directing the sales process and how the sales team and the management team can subordinate what the BDC is doing with these customers. We learned that there's 2 tabs within Roadster that we want to pay a lot of attention to, and one is the trade tab. So if we get a push notification via text that we've got a live trade candidate in there, our goal is to respond with a hard offer within 15 minutes. So we've got people dedicated to that, and then the other piece is the pre-approvals. If we get a pre-approve or a credit application pushed through, we want to get on those really quick. Within 15 minutes, we try to have that customer in front of somebody on the phone or via email, a manager, high-level intervention to really start the process and give that customer confidence that those 2 things are taking place. And the traditional mindset would be that you would have a used car manager take a look at the trade page,
right,
and a finance manager taking a look at the pre-approvals, and we learned that was probably not the best way to do it because they didn't quite have all the tools. They didn't know how much margin we were dealing with within Roadster and the pricing model. They didn't really know the pencil direction that we wanted to structure the deal if it was a low beacon. Mm-hmm. So our new car managers really govern that process and guide that process, and they get involved early, and we call it reverse TO. So the BDC and the sales managers work really close early, and then we'll TO it to a salesperson. So it's kind of a reverse TO, and those reverse TOs are sort of getting logged on a visual board in front of the sales managers, and we know at the end of the day what our success rate was on those TOs, and that's how we've taken the tool and incorporated it into our traditional process to work better.
So I do know, sitting in some of your meetings with the trades, you guys are looking at trade rates on a lot of different areas, but one that you've recently started to really focus on is Roadster. So how could a dealership, how do they set that up so that they can see exactly what their trade rate looks like on Roadster?
So Roadster marries really well with vAuto, and if you're appraising a trade in Roadster, it takes you directly to vAuto, so it's pretty seamless, and everybody should be aware of that. But within vAuto, we've set Roadster up as a manager. First name Roadster, last name Roadster. Okay. Roadster. So that is the appraiser if it's a sight unseen. Then the sales manager that is actually doing the appraisal, we put them in as the salesperson.
Okay.
So at the end of the month, when we get the reporting and we look at our trade rate, we can see all of our sales managers, what their live trade rates are off of a visual showroom trade, and then we can see what our trade rate is on Roadster off of sight unseens.
Okay.
So our goal is to have a trade rate on Roadster somewhere between 30 and 35%, which we've achieved 2 times. Last month, it was a little lower. The month of July was about 22%. So, we just look at that and say, hey, are we being aggressive enough on these trades,
Right.
sight unseen? And we really pay a lot of attention to our cost to market on those sight unseens to be sure it is equal to or greater than what we're seeing cost to market of showroom appraisals. And it flows really well. Everybody understands it. Everybody knows what the metrics are. And we just work those deals as hard as we do a showroom customer.
Yeah, it surprised me how many customers are actually taking pictures of their cars and upload them, and their pictures look a lot of times better than what ours do.
They're better than ours.